the city of Cyprus, in the year 300 years before Christ, there lived a prosperous merchant named Zeno. During a journey from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his ship sank, taking with it all of his cargo. What ensued was entirely beyond the control of Zeno or any human being, and the man found himself suddenly plunged into extreme misery. Now imagine yourself in Zeno's shoes. How would you react if the fruits of a lifetime faded away without apparent reason? Would you be angry, sad, feel that life and destiny are conspiring against you? For most people, this would be the natural reaction, but not for Zeno, the father of Stoicism. A small change lasts for an eternity, but altering the mindset, even minimally, produces broader and more impactful results in the future. The essence of Stoicism lies in acceptance and indifference. After absorbing the works of Socrates and other renowned philosophers, Zeno developed and disseminated the principles of Stoicism. According to him, although we have little control over the events that happen to us, we have control over how we react to them, and that is what we should focus on. Instead of lamenting over spilled milk, or in this case lost possessions, Zeno focused on maintaining composure, remaining calm and neutral despite his distress. Today, Stoics are seen as strong individuals who do not let themselves be overwhelmed, avoiding emotional extremes such as bursts of anger or anxiety attacks. However, the original idea of Stoicism transcends this view. More than a description of emotionless people, Stoicism is a way of perceiving and understanding the world, a philosophy of life that endures through the centuries. Stoic philosophy can be applied to contemporary situations just as it was applied thousands of years ago, and its benefits are equally impactful. Stoicism enables us to process negative emotions stemming from unwanted experiences, transforming them into thoughts that provide a unique perspective on the world. Perspective is everything, and each person has a different one, resulting in different ways of seeing the world. The Stoics, gathering and teaching philosophy in public places, made their ideology known. They believed that Stoic principles could benefit anyone, so it made no sense to hide this knowledge behind the walls of a school or the courtyards of a palace. As a result, everyone from slaves to emperors could learn and adopt Stoicism, and so they did. Among the most notable Stoics were Epictetus, whose name meant acquired, and who had been a slave, Seneca, a renowned statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men to have ever existed. The early Stoics practiced what they preached, avoiding any form of segregation and fighting against inequality. They even coined the word cosmopolitan, meaning citizen of the world. When we hear that word today, we think of cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London. This was the unity and cohesion that the Stoics preached. Even in a time when it was not popular, they allowed women to freely learn about philosophy and become Stoics. So why do so many people adopt Stoicism as a way of life? In a world full of unexpected events, emotions tend to get in the way. In reality, we are not saddened by bad things happening to us, but by unexpected things. Rain is positive. It helps water our plants, provides water for livestock, and keeps the temperature cool and moist. However, when a dark cloud catches you off guard without an umbrella, it is never a pleasant experience. So why don't we cry when it starts to rain? Because, although the situation is not desired, we understand that it is normal for it to rain. It is inevitable. We cannot control it, and we know that, just as it comes, it will pass. Stoicism teaches us to accept something similar. We should expect that everything bad that can happen will happen. Imagine the worst possible outcome, and be comfortable knowing that it can occur. One of the most well-known Stoic exercises is voluntary discomfort, designed to increase feelings of gratitude. Sleeping on the floor, showering with cold water, or eating nothing but potatoes for a few days. This practice helps understand that, no matter how difficult things are, you will survive and potentially thrive if your mindset is correct. Enduring these uncomfortable situations indirectly prepares our mindset for future adversities. In today's world, saturated with advertising that makes us believe that if we do not possess a specific object, a certain appearance, or do not earn a certain amount of money, we will never be happy, the message of Stoicism is more relevant than ever. We come into the world knowing nothing. We grow up learning things at home, at school, and by observing the world. These three sources of knowledge educate us in different ways, but the question is, do we need to internalize all this knowledge? If we do, we could inadvertently be setting unrealistic expectations in our lives, leading us to be disappointed and dissatisfied in the end. This is not a proper way to decide how to live. We should focus on improving ourselves through our own skills. Attaching external hopes or secondary attachments to the actions we undertake almost always results in disappointment. Most of the time, we try to fill that void with external things, spending all our money on a car, a house, or even forming a family. We do all this for its external value, not for its internal value. Stoicism teaches that if we direct our lives in this way, we place our happiness in the hands of external forces, forces that can fail at any moment. Cars break down, natural disasters happen, and divorce rates increase. However, even the free things in life come with a cost. The cost of space, both physical and mental. As Seneca wrote, learning to live with less will create room in our lives for things that truly matter. We should base our happiness on intrinsic value as human beings, not on what we possess or can physically acquire. We must strive to keep a cool head no matter what life has in store for us. Because as much as we wish, we have no control over the things that happen to us, but we have complete control over how we react to them. This is the dichotomy of control, the most crucial principle of Stoic philosophy. Stoics teach that we should learn to separate what we control from what we cannot control, to determine our worth not from things we don't control, but from those we do. Striving to achieve goals is an admirable quality, but crumbling when these things don't go as desired is, from a Stoic perspective, futile. Making YouTube videos is much easier than being a Roman emperor, but still, sometimes it can be a challenge. Creating the idea takes an eternity, then researching and discarding it because it's nonsense and starting over. Writing the script, correcting it, editing it, recording, creating the thumbnail, and everything else before clicking publish. Until the moment you press the upload button, everything depends on you. And once you do, the power shifts to the YouTube algorithm. However, many people judge the success of a video solely based on the number of views, subscribers, or followers it has. These metrics, most of the time, are beyond your control. Stoics teach that you should assess the success of your work based on the amount of effort you put in, not the outcome of your external hopes. Trust the process. Think of a person who has dedicated a lot of effort to work in the last 6 months. Now, she believes she deserves a promotion, so she approaches her boss with her performance report. The boss thanks her, doesn't grant the promotion, and she goes home thinking it must be a disaster at work. She doesn't take into consideration that the boss could be in a bad mood, that someone else might be more qualified at that moment, or that the company is losing money and can't afford it. She doesn't know the reason, but continues to be discontent. If she simply valued the quality of the performance report she delivered and continued doing what she was doing to earn the promotion she desired, she could have been happier overall. This change in mindset is crucial. A true Stoic doesn't measure their success by the financial greed of their company or job, but by the tranquility provided by things that no amount of money can buy. Stoicism has 4 virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom is the ability to distinguish between the internal and external, and the ability to choose our reaction to events. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and that space is our power to choose the response. Courage for them is to persist and resist. Temperance is to do more with less, say more with less, exactly as I just did here. While Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk vie for the top of the Forbes list, the Stoics believe that the limit of wealth should be to have the essential and then have enough. Justice is the most important of all virtues. It indicates that no one should harm another, as we are all born for others, to do good to each other and not to ourselves. Nelson Mandela was one of the world's most famous African leaders. While fighting against apartheid, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, where he remained for 27 years before finally being released. Upon leaving prison, he was elected president of South Africa. Many people thought he would brutally punish everyone involved in his imprisonment, but that was not the case. During his time in prison, Mandela read the works of Marcus Aurelius and learned many of the core values of Stoicism. Instead of demanding the heads of the offenders, he urged his people to forgive and rebuild. He insisted that the past was out of control, and the only option was to move forward. That is the Stoic way. In modern medicine, Stoicism underlies procedures such as rational emotive behavioral therapy and logotherapy. The first helps patients identify negative thinking patterns that are causing emotional and behavioral problems, allowing them to logically question the reasoning behind these negative thoughts. When we realize that many of them lack foundation, we can replace them with more productive and healthy beliefs. Logotherapy, in turn, is based on the Stoic principle that humans are driven by a purpose. Even in the darkest situations, we can fill our lives with meaning and happiness simply by discovering what that purpose is. However, this is easier said than done. We need to reshape our way of thinking, discard the old, and introduce new perspectives emerge when applying Stoicism in clinical practice as professionals seek to assist patients in developing a mindset that empowers them to better handle emotional challenges and find deeper meaning in their lives. Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, REBT, influenced by Stoic principles, focuses on identifying and reassessing dysfunctional thought patterns. By questioning the logic behind negative thoughts, patients can modify their beliefs, promoting a healthier and more constructive approach to adversity. This practice aligns with Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of controlling reactions to situations, even when we cannot control the events themselves. On the other hand, logotherapy, developed by psychotherapist Viktor Frankl, is grounded in the principle that the search for purpose is inherent to human nature. Inspired by Stoicism, this therapeutic approach encourages individuals to find meaning in the most challenging experiences. When facing life's darkest situations, logotherapy suggests that we can transform suffering into an opportunity to discover our deeper purpose. However, implementing these ideas in daily practice requires a complete overhaul of how we perceive the world. It is a process of discarding old ways of thinking that do not contribute to our well-being and introducing perspectives more aligned with Stoic principles. This involves cultivating acceptance of what we cannot control, focusing on what is within our reach, and finding meaning even in the most challenging circumstances. In summary, the influence of Stoicism on modern medicine goes beyond a mere therapeutic approach. This ancient philosophy continues to shape how we understand the human mind, providing valuable tools to navigate emotional complexities and find purpose amid life's uncertainties. By integrating Stoic principles into therapeutic practices, healthcare professionals aim not only to treat symptoms, but also to empower individuals to live more meaningful and resilient lives. Stoicism, as a philosophy of life, transcends the boundaries of time and continues to offer valuable insights for dealing with contemporary challenges. Even in the darkest situations, we can fill our lives with meaning and happiness simply by discovering what that purpose is. As many of us know, this is easier said than done. It's a process, just like everything else. We have to rewire the way we think. Out with the old, in with the new. To solve our problems with happiness, we must practice self-esteem. By refocusing our definition of value toward the things we can control, we can stop fixating on the things we can't control, and overall, we can lead a much happier and more fulfilling life. Stoicism helps us navigate through past and present storms to calmer, more peaceful waters. And if our ship sinks and we all drown, we can rest easy in the fact that we have lived a good life, although not as good as we had hoped, because remember, everything has an end.